what if I just say, oh, I'm not interested in meeting up, and then something bad happens at work? Like, what if he says something bad about me? Like, oh, Jasmine, she's so awful, she wouldn't even talk to me. What's up, everybody? It's Jasmine, and today I am doing a video. Obviously, I'm here, aren't I? I need your guys' help, right? So I have this situation going on, and I would like your opinions, because I've tried to get the opinions of my friends, but the conversation didn't really get started. So I was like, I'll use my YouTube channel to help myself. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so to start off with, I work at a hospital, and this person, they also work where I work, but in a completely different part. And so they added me on Facebook, and I accepted their friend request because I saw that they worked at the same place. So I thought, why not? And then they sent me a message, and then I'll read the message out, and then I'll explain my thinking and how I'm feeling about it, and then I will ask you guys what you think. Okay, so it starts off like this. Hi, never really gotten the chance to speak to you like this. You're from New Zealand, right? I think that is very interesting, and that's like the best accent, and you do like nice art and is really cute. Haha, so I decided to get to know you. And then they explained what part of the place, like whereabouts they work in the hospital. And I replied, hi, cool, yeah, I'm from New Zealand, smiley face. And then they asked, may I ask what took you from the other side of the world? And I didn't reply. And so 6 days later they wrote, hi again. When are we going for a drink or a coffee? Would Friday afternoon/evening be good? And so I was actually going out with friends that night. So I said, my friends and I are getting a drink tomorrow evening if you would like to come. And they said, sounds nice, where and when more precisely. And at the time, me and my friends hadn't decided on a time or a place. So I said, we haven't locked in a time or place yet. I'll get back to you when I know. And they said, sounds good. Well, see you then, I guess. And I said, cool. Then I found out that my friends weren't meeting up. So I said, looks like we aren't hanging out tonight. And they said, oh, well, that's how it is at times. What are you doing instead? Question mark, smiley face. And I didn't reply. And then I went to Hamburg, and they wrote, I found your Instagram, saw that you also seems to be in Germany, but in Hamburg, right? And I said, yeah, on holiday. Nice, so was I. For how long are you there? I was in Berlin, he said. And I said, I was there for 5 days. I see, was it fun? Berlin was a bit disappointing, to be honest. I was expecting more, but mostly good, I guess. And I didn't reply to that. And then yesterday they wrote, I'd try again by asking if we had taken a drink/coffee. Okay, so there's 2 more messages, but I just wanted to talk about what we've read so far. So first of all, I was really surprised that they seem to know so much about me, like about my art, and that I came from New Zealand. And so I was thinking, like, we must have met, right? And so I was trying to think, and I couldn't think of who it was. But then I asked my workmates, and then I realized who it was, and I realized that I had never actually talked to this person. I haven't even been introduced to them. So I was like, this is so that I felt like this was a bit weird that they seemed to know so much about me, and I didn't know if they were saying that my art was cute or if I was cute. So I was just really confused. But I thought, like when I said that they could come hang out with me and my friends, I was like, that's like a easy, friendly thing to do, why not? Like, that's pretty safe, right? But I was really, really surprised when he said, so when are we going to go for a drink? Because I hadn't even replied to his question about what brought me to Sweden. And the reason why I didn't answer that is because I kind of hate that question. Like, I get it so many times that it's such a long story for me. Like, I don't want to half say it, because if I say, oh, I came here with a Swedish guy, it doesn't really explain it, and I don't want people to get like a bad impression of the guy that I came to Sweden with, because he's so lovely and his family is so nice, that if I say, oh, I came with a Swedish guy and then we broke up, like, it doesn't explain it. So I find it really difficult to answer that question, and if I can avoid it, I do, or if I can go into lots and lots of detail, then I'll do it. But after I didn't say anything, they said, hi again, Jasmine, when are we going for a drink or a coffee? Would Friday afternoon, evening be good? It was like, because it was so straightforward, it was like, when are we going for a drink or a coffee? Like, I never even said that I would go for a drink or a coffee, and it was like, they were saying like that, well, we are going to do it. You just have to pick a date. So I don't know, I was really like, is that even right? But then I thought maybe it's good to be assertive like that. I don't know. And then I thought maybe it was like a Swedish thing, but then I remembered that Swedes are like pretty shy, but maybe when I don't know. See, I'm going back and forth. Like, I don't know how I should feel about this. And then when they said that they found my Instagram and saw that I was in Germany, that really, I just thought that it was getting really weird, because it feels like he's talking to me as though we're work friends, like, oh, we know each other because we work together. But really, I don't know him, like, yeah, he works with, in the same area as I do, but he's basically a stranger on the internet to me, even though he physically works in the same place. So for him to sort of ask so many questions, that felt really weird, and that he was sort of showing himself to be someone who is taking a lot of interest in like my life and where I come from and where I am. Like, I know you're in Germany. Like, I felt a little bit off, but then maybe it's normal and fine and everything like that. But then, okay, so then we get up to today, and he says, I try again by asking if we are taking a drink / coffee. So this is more like a question. This is like, like, should we go out for a drink or a coffee, instead of when are we going for a drink or a coffee? So that feels a bit better to me. But then I thought I might as well just ask him, because I was getting really suspicious. I was like, what is it that you are looking for, a friend or a girlfriend? Because I was getting really strong vibes, like this urgency to hang out, and him seeming to already know so much about me. And I really don't want a boyfriend right now, because I don't even know if I can stay in Sweden. So that would be a disaster. And I'm doing so well mentally that I don't want to ruin it with another relationship, right? And then he was like, that was a straightforward question. I like that. Well, I look for friends, other relationships develop, sometimes not. So that was a bit of an annoying answer, because I do want to know what he's looking for, because like, I don't want a boyfriend. So if he thinks that I'm a potential partner, then he's just going to get disappointed, because I'm not interested. Even if he was the best guy in the world, I can't do it right now. Yeah. So I feel really conflicted, because I don't know if I should meet up with him, because it does feel like he is an internet stranger who just happens to work at the same place that I work. That's what it feels like. On the other hand, I do feel bad, because it's someone trying to get to know me, and then maybe I'd be a bad person if I didn't let them try to get to know me. So then the other problem is that they want to know if we can go out for a drink or we can go out for a coffee. I don't really drink. Like, I drink, like, every now and then I'll go to a bar with my friends, and usually I'll just drink cola, but sometimes every now and then I'll get a beer, right? But that's with my friends. Like, I wouldn't go out with, a guy and have a beer. Like, I'd go for a Coke or something. And I don't drink coffee. So going out for a drink or a coffee with somebody that I don't know to get to know them would be really weird for me. Like, that wouldn't be fun. Like, he asked me if we're going to go out for a drink or a coffee. And to me, I'm like, that sounds so boring. I don't want to do that. To go out for an ice cream, yeah, I'd do that. We'll take half an hour to sit and chat, and then I'll get out of here. But like, to go for a drink or a coffee, I'm like, oh, that's going to take like an hour, maybe 2 hours. I don't want to do that. So there's lots of like upsides and downsides, mostly downsides, I'd say. The upside could be that maybe he'd be a really good friend. However, I do already have quite a few really good friends, right? So I don't know. I don't know what I should do. And I also feel worried about, like, what if I just say, oh, I'm not interested in meeting up, and then something bad happens at work? Like, what if he says something bad about me? Like, oh, Jasmine, she's so awful, she wouldn't even talk to me. Like, that would be really bad, wouldn't it? Like, oh, I tried to make friends with her and she wouldn't even talk to me. Like, that would make me look super, super bad. So then I'm like, maybe I should just hang out with him just so I don't get a bad name around work. I don't know. Oh, man. It would be... See, the way that I like to make friends is to... Maybe you start a casual conversation online. They're like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, I'm alright. And they're like, hey, like, what do you like to do? And they'll be like, oh, it's the weekend coming up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking so much forward to it. And they'll be like, oh, what are you doing in the weekend? And I'll be like, I'm going to go walk a dog. And then I'll be like, what are you going to do in the weekend? And they'll be like, oh my God, I love dogs. I have 2 dogs myself. And I'll be like, really? What's their names? And, the conversation would roll on from there. But if somebody comes up on the internet and they're like, I know that you come from New Zealand, and I think that your art is really beautiful, and I think that we should meet up for a drink. And then I'm like, no. Because, like, I talk to so many people on the internet, and the way that you make friends with people on the internet is you just have a casual conversation without any like putting any wants or needs onto that person. It's just like, hey, how's it going? Or the other way is you make friends in real life, and by doing that, the way you do that is you see them, you say hey, they say hey, maybe a week goes by of doing this and that, and then one day you stop and say, oh, it sure is nice weather out there today. And they say, really? I hate it when it rains. I'm like, are you serious? It's so nice to work when it rains, because the pitter patter, and if you were just home alone, you'd probably get really tired and have to sleep. And they'll be like, oh, I never thought of it like that. Huh. Well, anyway, my shift is starting, so I gotta go. And I'll be like, okay, catch you later. And then, you do the same thing the next week. And then the next thing you know, you're like, hey, me and my other workmates are going out for lunch today. Do you want to tag along? Like, that's how you make friends in real life. So this is like all messed up. It's higgledy-piggledy, and I don't really know what to do. So anyway, if you guys could lend me your advice, that would be super wonderful. And then, maybe I'll make a conclusion. Right now, I'm just going to hold off and maybe say, no, I'm not going to say anything until I get your guys' advice. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Catch you all next time. Hey, door. Me and my workmates are going out for lunch later if you want to take along. Hey, door.